Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the February 28th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a little time for myself. We'll begin with a serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment to look this over. The question of the day is, what have I learned by taking the time to listen? Listen and learn is one of the Al-Anon sayings. Oh, actually, it's mentioned in the passage. I just read it. Okay, so the passage talks about this person going to their first meeting and being so angry because they heard things like one day at a time and easy does it, live and let live. But they didn't feel like the people in the meeting understood how desperate they were feeling. And then they heard listen and learn. And over the weeks and months that followed, this person realized that they had no control over their loved one's addiction and that they couldn't cause it, they couldn't control it, and they couldn't cure it. And then they felt so relieved and they felt very connected to the other people at the meeting. Today's reminder, it talks about listen and learn, to hear how other people are dealing with the disease of alcoholism. And the quote is from Al-Anon, a day at a time. Listening to others helps us get the most out of our program. So I've learned so much by listening to people, and I've become a better listener. I listen more now because I realize that my higher power speaks through other people. So it's important that I listen. And I also realize that part of being compassionate and authentic is really listening when someone is speaking. And I feel like at meetings are designed so it's pretty easy to listen to the person who's speaking because no one's interrupting. It's very organized. So in my meeting, we get 3 minutes to share. And so it's easy to concentrate for 3 minutes and give someone my full attention. So I really like that. And every time I go to a meeting, I learn something. No exaggeration. And that's because I'm listening. And like I said, even outside of Al-Anon meetings, when I listen, I better connect with whoever's speaking. So if I'm having a one-to-one conversation, instead of thinking about what I'm going to say next, if I just listen to the person, I feel like I better understand what they're saying. I better understand where they're coming from. And so sometimes there's a little bit of a pause in between them finishing speaking and me saying something because I'm listening so carefully and I'm not thinking of what I'm going to say next. So that can feel kind of awkward. But it's okay. And sometimes I say I'm just gathering my thoughts or I'm just taking in what you just said. So, I mean, it's fine. It's well worth it to get the benefit of really listening to what someone is saying. And I'm thinking, that really applies to people that I respect and care about and, you know, really admire. And there are those people who are talking and they're not saying anything that feels good to me. And sometimes I do find myself praying for them while they're speaking. So sometimes I may miss a little of what they're saying, but sometimes I just kind of glaze over when they've said so much. Like they get to a certain point, and I'm just thinking, I just need to take care of myself at this point. So I just pray for them and just wait for them to stop talking and then just uh, change the subject and the conversation, whatever needs to be done. But I would say that's not the majority, that's nowhere near the majority of conversations that I have. Yeah, I pray for them and I pray for me that I won't say anything that I'll regret or act in a way that I won't feel good about. I'm going to take a minute to look this over. This is about the third step and how working the third step is an ongoing process. This is turning our will and our life over to the care of a higher power. This person is describing how at first they surrendered only the big problems, but as they came to trust their higher power, whenever they faced a decision, whether it involved dealing with the alcoholic or not, like accepting a job offer, making plans for the evening, they always ask for guidance. When they speak with an Al-Anon friend, yes, yes, yes. And it says that, like, sometimes, have you ever felt like you're a channel for your higher power? Sometimes I feel like I am, especially when I'm speaking to other Al-Anon people. Sometimes we'll be talking about something and I'll say something and they'll say, "Can you repeat that?" And I'll say, "No," because it didn't like it and then I realize it didn't even come from me. I don't really know what I just said, but I can like bring up parts of it, but I can't say it the way I just said it because I honestly feel like it was information that was given to me because that person needed to hear it and I needed to hear it. It talks about not always knowing our higher power's will, but becoming willing to receive guidance. Today's reminder, including our higher power in our actions today, is a good idea. And the quote is from Al-Anon's 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Step 3 teaches us to be receptive to our higher power. So comforting, isn't it? And we were at my Al-Anon meeting today, we were talking about how we pray so much, but how it's not religious, how it's spiritual, it's not religious, because We never want, especially in at our meeting, we never want to deter anyone because they don't feel comfortable with the seemingly religious aspects of the program. But in fact, it's not religious at all. There are some people who have a religious um, background, or religion as a part of their life, but it's not part of the Al-Anon program. So uh, it's just an understanding of something greater than we are. And for a lot of people well, I don't know, for a lot of people, for me, it's the connection of all things. That's my higher power. All things, everywhere. Yeah, that's felt comfortable to me for quite a while now, many years. So we'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.